Hey guys, it's Kevin again for Daredevil, Season 1, Episode 2, Cut Man. And this, again, another amazing episode. I was, of course, looking forward to this episode. Because if you guys know, I absolutely adored the pilot. It's the best pilot I've seen all year. It's definitely going to end up on my top 10 list of TV shows. I forgot to say that, but this episode just is amazing, and I could not wait for this episode. And again, another amazing episode. I don't know if I liked it as much as the first one. I think the first one definitely I thought was better, but I still absolutely loved this episode. It still was a fantastic episode, and the show has yet to give me anything I don't like. I can't find a single problem with this show, and I absolutely love that. It's very rare when I don't find a problem with a show, but let's just get into this episode because it was amazing. There's a lot to talk about, and one of the things I love about this episode is that this one did not have, I mean, it had a lot of badass action, but it had a lot of story in there as well, which I definitely really enjoyed. So we start off and we see that Matt is bleeding, well, or Daredevil, what do you call it? Daredevil is bleeding inside of a dumpster, and he's gasping for air, and it's so intriguing. It's just like the first episode. You don't know what happened, but you're so intrigued by it, and I really hope the show continues to do this, because it's really, one of the things I love about the show is the constant tension, sudden tension. Just, we had no idea what was going to happen in the second episode, but they started off like this, and just starting it like that, it's so mysterious. It puts you right into the episode, and it gets you really intrigued, and I love that they did that, because I want to be intrigued in the show. I want to, you know, love this show. I really hope honestly, they should do this every episode. I want something this thrilling every episode. It's awesome. It puts us right into the episode. It starts the tension, because this is a show that has a lot of tension, and it needs to have a lot of tension. It can't be a show that just, like, I understand it needs to slow down, but, like, this is what the show needs to be. Have this constant tension. I love it. So a man finds Daredevil in the dumpster and calls for help, and this woman, Claire Temple, played by Rosario Dawson, we meet her character in this episode, who, by the way, she gave a fantastic performance. As I said, I was going to talk about the performances. I couldn't talk about her in the first episode, of course, because she wasn't in it. So she was great in this episode. I really love her character, but basically she is this nurse, and she hears his cries and runs over for assistance, and basically the two take Daredevil to Claire's apartment, and they put him on the floor, and Claire begins examining him. And she unmasked Daredevil in her examination, and I really like this scene. It was really, I thought this was really well done overall, because you don't really trust this doctor. You don't really know if you should trust her. I mean, you don't know much about her, and I like that. I like that we didn't really know if we could trust her, because, I mean, who knows if she's really that trustworthy. And I really like seeing that here. I thought that was really well done here, and the way they did that I really like. So basically, she then finds this bleeding wound on Daredevil's torso and tries calling 911, but Daredevil gains consciousness and tells her to stop, saying that the man who stabbed him would kill everyone in the hospital just to get to Daredevil, and Daredevil puts himself up and tries leaving, but collapses and faints. So you can see right away that definitely he's not upset that he is in this position. You know, Matt really doesn't seem to care. So basically, he collapses and faints, and then we see, now this happens a lot throughout the episode, and I didn't think this episode was going to do this much. There's a lot of flashbacks to Matt and his father, Jack, and I really like seeing that, because while we saw 2 of the flashbacks in the first episode, I really feel like we need to get more of a sense of his childhood, and we see a lot more of their bonding in this episode, which I really love seeing, and honestly was one of the big highlights of this episode. So basically, we see young Matt is watching his father box on television, and when Jack comes home there, the two discuss Jack's failed mission, and Matt bandages Jack's boxing wounds, and Jack gives Matt a drink of liquor to steady his hands while stitching his wounds, and basically, you can see that Matt doesn't really like it, but I really like their bonding overall. I mean, yeah, he's not the best father to him. I will admit that he's not the best father, but I don't really care, because I really love their bonding overall. I found this to be a really good scene. So Jack then tells Matt that he must finish his homework before going to bed. He seems to be very concerned about that. And by the way, this is before Matt went blind, which I like seeing. And he's studying the importance of studying once again. And Matt sees the wad of cash and that Jack received from the match more than a losing man should get. Because, you know, if a man loses a fight, he doesn't get paid much. And he has a lot of cash there. So Matt starts to wonder if Jack was paid to possibly lose the boxing match, and I thought that was actually a very interesting twist if he did do that, because it seemed like maybe he did do that. So back in the present, Karen sets up her desk at Nelson and Murdoch's law office late at night, and basically, I thought this was really interesting, because I thought that she was going to be love interest for Matt, but we see that no, she's actually possibly going to be love interest for Foggy, because Foggy enters and the two chat, and Foggy convinces Karen to stop working, and I really love the way he does. He's like, stop working, go to a strip club, do whatever you want to do nowadays. I thought that was really funny, and he calls her to go out with him, basically wants to go out with her for a drink with Matt. And I thought that was really interesting, because I thought that, maybe Foggy would be, that Matt would be Karen's love interest, but it seems like maybe Foggy will be her love interest, and I honestly really like that, because most times it's the hero, but for once it's the sidekick gets the girl, and I think it's really cool if they do that, and I love the way the show is playing with that, and that's something I definitely really enjoyed, and if they want to do that, if they want to get, Karen and Foggy together, I'm honestly for it. I think that these two work really well together, and I'm going to talk about what I really liked about them. There's a lot that I really liked about them, but basically, I thought that was a really good scene. So unfortunately, of course, they don't know where Matt is. They think that he's just, they don't really know where he is. So he clearly, currently remains under Claire's care. When he comes to, Claire runs through all the wounds Matt inflicted, and she says that she's something like a doctor, and he doesn't really know if he can fully trust her, and doesn't know much about her, but basically, she says that the less Daredevil knows about her, the better. And I'm just like, that's really shady. Like, what are you hiding? What exactly are you hiding from him that you don't want him to know? Clearly, she is hiding something. What it is, you don't really know at this point, but you can tell that she's hiding something. And Daredevil thanks Claire for her help, and I definitely really enjoyed that scene. So Matt enters a flashback from when he was in the hospital, right after he went blind, and it's another amazing scene, because you see, once again, it really reminded me of the first scene of the show, where we saw Matt, and he was blind and everything, and you see him, like, covering his eyes, like, he's like, I can't see, and it's again, very hard to watch, and I don't know why, but it's just really hard to watch for me. I know my friend watched it. He told me it wasn't as hard to watch. He didn't feel it was as hard to watch, but it was really hard for me to watch, I have to say. I just really felt bad for him, honestly. And his senses start kicking in. He has no idea what's going on. This is how he starts getting, the really good hearing. He doesn't know what's happening to him, and basically, this causes him to panic, and basically, Jack is there to soothe him, and I definitely really enjoyed seeing Jack there, and just seeing their bond overall, how close they were, I definitely really enjoyed. And yeah, their bond might not be the most normal thing ever, like him drinking liquor, no, that's not normal, but these two have a really great bond that I definitely enjoyed seeing that. So, Matt wakes up the present on Claire's couch, unable to breathe, and Claire surmises that his lung collapsed and opens his airway with a needle, and recovered. Matt then explains how he tried stopping a kidnapping, because, from the end of episode 1, when the kid was, kidnapped for human trafficking, and a child was being kidnapped for a Russian-led human trafficking ring, and basically Matt followed the van to kidnap the boy, but when he arrived the van's destination, he discovered that a group of men were actually waiting for Daredevil. They weren't waiting for him, they were waiting for Daredevil, and I think that was really interesting when we found that out. The entire scenario was a trap, probably by Wilson Fisk. I'm assuming that he's the one that probably set that up, who again we don't see in this episode, and I don't think we're gonna see him till probably episode 3, because he just is such a mystery, and I like how mysterious his character is. I mean, we know that he is definitely very, force to be reckoned with, as I said. We know that he's a very thrilling villain, but we just don't know too much about him. So, Daredevil says that he barely escaped the ambush, but his Allisons are still out there, and with the boy looking for him, Daredevil quickly stops and says that someone else has entered Claire's apartment building, and of course, he's getting really worried because it could be that man that's after him, and I'm just thinking, oh my god, that man's coming after him, but how does he, know? And basically, Matt says that he smells a man in the building, a few stories below, and again, now we realize that he has a really good sense of smell as well. Not only does he have really good hearing, but he has a really good sense of smell, and again, they're very subtly revealing things, and I love that. That's something that I love that the show did in the first episode, and again, they do it here. This is very subtly revealed. We had no idea he had the sense of smell, but they just subtly revealed it, and I love that. There was no, like, I have a sense of smell, we need to show it to everyone. No, this is very subtly revealed, and I thought that was really well done overall. I really like the way they revealed it. They took their time revealing it, and it was really good. When you take your time revealing something, it really does benefit, and I think they did a really good job of doing that here. So, basically, we then see that Matt then flashbacks to his childhood where he studies Braille in a gym. If you don't know what Braille is, it is what blind people, or not just blind kids, but what people that are blind, that's how they read. They basically, like, feel it. I thought that was interesting to see. And Jack is training in the boxing ring, and Matt explains how Braille works to Jack, and then two men named Roscoe and Sweeney enter the gym. And they tell Jack that he has a match with a man named Creel. When he said Creel, I thought, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., right? Well, then I realized that this is the same character from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So yes, they have now connected something from the Marvel Cinematic Universe into Daredevil, and I knew they were going to do it, and I really love it they're doing that, because honestly, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s getting really dark. It's not TV mature, but it's definitely not as dark as Daredevil, but I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I'm happy that they're bringing his character on. I think it's really cool if they want to do that, maybe do a crossover, because they can do that. It's not like, you know, how, Gotham and The Flash can never do a crossover because they're on two separate networks. No, this is not on a network. Netflix is not necessarily a network. It's just something that is on. So if they want to do like a crossover with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they could do that here. If they want to do a crossover with Agent Carter, they can do that here. Like, they can do those things. And I think that they're eventually going to do that. And I heard that Marvel said that if people like these characters, they're going to put them in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which I think is really cool. So they must be really confident because they're already throwing out references, which I love. And again, it's very subtle, but I love that. So they tell Jack that he has to throw the fight, but Jack refused, and we realize that, yeah, he was told to throw that fight. They're basically telling him to throw fights, and I think it's really interesting that they said that. Now, why do I think they're telling him to throw fights? I don't know, but for whatever reason, they don't want him in this fight, and they think that it's not a good idea that he's in this fight. So basically, they threaten that if he doesn't throw the fight in the 5th round, they'll kill him and leave Matt an orphan. So they really want him to throw this fight, and we don't know why, but now that they threaten his life, he has no choice but to throw it. So you really do feel bad for Jack. He didn't want to throw it, but he had to. So back in the present, Matt gets up and readies himself for the new man in the building. The man knocks on the door, says he's a New York City cop named Detective Foster. And when Claire opens the door, Foster said that he's looking for a black masked man. Of course, that is Daredevil, who's the black masked man. And basically, he's concocting a story that he robbed a nearby bodega earlier that night. And Claire says that she saw nothing, and Foster leaves. And Daredevil doesn't buy it, though, and correctly poses that the cop is really a Russian thug in disguise, which, that's something I really like about Matt, is how smart he is. He really is very smart, and I'd have to agree with this theory, that there's no way that that guy is a cop. He is definitely a Russian thug, because why would they be after him? It doesn't make sense, really, and basically, he then exits the apartment and subdues Detective Foster with a fire extinguisher before he exits the building, and that was a crazy scene. I mean, there is some, as I said, the show is some crazy violence, and I really love it they do that, but holy shit, there was some very crazy violence in this episode, which I love. But across town, Foggy and Karen, I keep saying Foggy, his name is Foggy. Foggy and Karen grab a drink at Josie's, and it's a dive bar near Nelson and Murdoch's office, and they banter for a bit, and they keep their drinks flowing, and basically, Foggy prods Karen about waking up with the, dead body in her apartment. She recalls how if the man in the mask didn't save her, she'd be dead. Now, of course, she doesn't know that, she doesn't know that Matt and Daredevil are the same person. I'm pretty sure she doesn't, though. So I'm assuming she'll eventually find out, but she doesn't right now. So Karen says she doesn't need to see the city anymore. All she sees are dead corners, or dark corners and threats. And she doesn't want to really go anywhere because she's worried about what's going to happen to her. I mean, she is kind of technically a fugitive right now. She was in prison. People don't trust her. She's kind of a fugitive, and basically Foggy tries comforting her, saying that Hell's Kitchen is full of decent people, and yeah, decent people like Wilson Fisk, yeah, totally decent people. And he comforts her, and they decide to stay out for the night, and I really like that. I like that he's trying to help her, trying to get her to understand that, look, I understand things are bad, but things could be worse, and it's true, things could be worse, and I like that he tried to help her with that, and I definitely really enjoyed that scene. I thought that was really well done, and honestly, I really would like these two together. And also, I like that Foggy tried to have a lot more comic relief in this episode, but still he has his own character. He's not just Claire's love interest. These are two characters who are just unsure of themselves, and I really like that. So, out on the roof of Claire's apartment, she and Daredevil tie the unconscious, and Russian thugs show up, and Claire tries asking about Daredevil's unique abilities, but Daredevil interjects and asks why she'd help a masked man the dumpster, and of course, she doesn't know that this is really Matt, and she explains that recently during her shifts in an emergency room, a number of injured men have come in and claimed that they were thrashed by a man in a black mask, and she says that Daredevil's reputation is spreading fast in Hell's Kitchen, and I really like where the storyline's going. Basically, everyone is against him already, and the question is, are these regular citizens, or are these just, the Russian thugs in disguise? So basically, when she found the dumpster, she knew he was a vigilante the wounded ER patients described. So already, he has a very bad rep. We're on episode 2 of season 1 right now, and Daredevil already has a very bad rep. I mean, that's what's so awesome about the show. If this was a CW show, it'd be like Arrow, where this isn't happening until season 3. Now, that arc is awesome on Arrow. They're doing an amazing job with that, but I'm just saying that in terms of quality, this is definitely being more well handled. I definitely really enjoyed that. So, Matt has another flashback to his childhood home. There, Jack opens a package containing his red and gold boxing robe. They talk about never quitting and the importance of always getting back up. And again, it shows his motivation that Matt had, if you remember that whole speech he gave him last week and everything. So, Jack then calls a bookie, bets on himself to win the boxing match against Creel. He tells the bookie to pull the winnings in a private account in Matt's name, and Jack makes another call to a woman and tells her via voicemail that Matt will soon need her help. And what I thought is that he knows he's going to die. He knows he's not going to make it out of this, and it's really sad, but you can tell right there that he's probably going to die because he's not going through with the plan. He's not doing what Creel wanted him to do. He's not doing what the two men wanted him to do either, so he's probably going to die. And it's really sad, but you could just tell from that scene that he probably is going to die. So, basically, then we see the nearby Daredevil interrogates the now conscious... Oh, wait, before that, though, we see that in the present, a drunken Foggy and Karen go to Matt's apartment, and of course, they don't know what's going on with him. They're trying to get him to come to the door, and they want Matt to come party with them, but they realize that Matt's not home. Nobody answers, just this old woman answers, tells him to keep it down. I thought that was really funny. So Karen and Foggy continue to walk the streets by Hell's Kitchen by themselves. They're bonding, and I honestly, as I said, I'd like these two together. I would. I think they'd be cute together, and I think it'd be cool to see that happen and not Matt and Karen, because that's what everyone expects. So seeing her with Foggy, I think is really interesting. If that's what they want to do, I think that's really cool overall, that that's really what they want to do here, because I think it's pretty cool, definitely. So, nearby, Daredevil interrogates the now conscious Russian thug on Claire's roof. This scene was amazing because, I mean, he is completely interrogating him, and it's crazy. He's hearing the thug's heartbeat, and basically, he knows he's lying or not. Again, I love this whole thing with the heartbeat because he can tell when someone's lying or not. And he knows when he's lying or not, telling the truth, and the thug says he doesn't know who the Russian sold the kidnapped boy to. So using extreme methods of torture because he just needs to get some answers here. So he needs to do whatever he can. He's torturing him however he can. He then tells the man that he enjoys causing him extreme pain. And the Russian finally tells Matt, because of course he was going to kill him, he has to finally give up and tell him, give up his location. He tells Matt where he can find his boss. Daredevil returns the favor by dropping him off the roof, which I thought was fucking insane, but gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. And he tells Claire that the thug will live, and he then tells Claire to hide somewhere safe in the city. She tells Daredevil where she'll be in case he needs more medical help later in the night. And while I really love their bonding, there's something about her I don't trust. I don't know what it is, but when she says that you don't want to know too much about me, it just seems really sketchy. And I don't know about you guys, but do you trust her? I don't trust her. I don't know what it is, but there's something about her where I don't trust Claire. What it is, I just can't figure it out yet. It's just what she said, those words. I can't trust her. I really can't. I want to, but I can't out of good conscience, and she just doesn't seem really trustworthy to me. So, do I think that, she's going to hurt Matt or anything? I don't think she's a bad person. I just feel like there's something else she's hiding, and I definitely want to find out if that's true, because I just feel like she's hiding something. Definitely, I think she is. So, in the past, Jack enters the ring for his fight against Creel, and while with Matt watching the fight on TV at home, Jack defeats Creel. Jack then tries fleeing the boxing ring before the mobsters can kill him, but he's too slow. They shoot him, and this scene was devastating. They shoot him dead in an alley near his apartment. Matt hears the gunshot in his apartment, runs to his dead father, and Wow, I would never have expected that to happen. We are on episode 2, and we've gotten a few flashbacks with him and his father. Now, do I think there are going to be more? Yeah, I do think there are going to be more flashbacks eventually. But just knowing now that we already know that, I think is amazing that we already know that. It just shows how well done this show reveals, and it's such a good twist, really. I mean, that's why he's doing, I mean, that's not the only reason he's doing what he's doing. I mean, sure, he's avenging his father's death, but he's also doing it because of the fact that he is just a really good person, wants to help the city. There's that as well, but just the fact that we saw that, I thought was really interesting, and especially because we're on episode 2, I just thought that was really good that they did that. I definitely really enjoyed that. So, I mean, I didn't enjoy it. It was sad to see, but I thought that was really well done. So, in the present, Daredevil ambushes the Russian gang's leader hideout. They still have the kidnap boy with them, and this scene was fucking awesome, I have to say. He's taking out them one by one. He's trying to subdue all the men at once, even though he knows it's not possible. He actually does end up doing it. He beats the shit out of them. It was so awesome to see, and it takes a while as well. I mean, obviously it takes a while. There are tons of men here we're talking about, but he gets all of them out one by one. I can't believe he actually got them out so, like, as many out as he did. I thought that was so awesome. And again, it's probably just his father's motivation, because obviously we're seeing these flashbacks because he's thinking about them. And him just fighting them one by one I thought was awesome. And he then ultimately succeeds, however, and actually rescues the boy. And that's how the episode ends. So I definitely think that these two are definitely going to connect. I don't know much about the boy, but definitely I feel like these two are going to connect somehow. I don't feel like this is the last we see of this story. But wow, what an awesome, amazing episode, definitely. I mean, so many great things about this episode I definitely want to talk about. First of all, let's talk about Claire. Do you trust Claire? I don't really trust Claire. I definitely feel like there's something she's hiding. I think Rosario Dawson is doing a great job as her character. You see that she does really care for Matt. I don't think it's not that. I just think there's something that she doesn't want to tell anyone. And what it is, I'm not entirely sure yet. I just feel like there's something that she does not want to tell them. I just can't figure out what it is yet. I don't know yet, but Foggy and Karen, I honestly really like these two together, and if they want to get them together, I'd be great with that. I think that'd be really cool, and especially, it's sort of like a twist on regular superhero shows, because, you know, Arrow and Felicity, Flash, you know, Barry and Iris, two main leads. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has really nobody except for, like, Melinda and Coulson. I mean, there's that. But Agent Carter, you know, Sousa and Peggy. It'd be interesting to see the main love interest have someone other than the main character. Because, again, Karen's not just the main love interest. She's a legit character. She's not just a love interest. And it really shows that well in this episode. Because they both just want to get their own life. And he just wants her to get a life. You know, he doesn't want her to just, you know, stay there to be shelter and everything. No, he wants her to have a good life. And I definitely really enjoyed that. And I thought that was really well done overall. Now let's talk about this whole thing with Daredevil starting to turn into a fugitive. Do I think this is real, or is this just, you know, Wilson Fisk's plan? Again, we know nothing about him. We don't know what he wants to do. All we've seen is that voiceover where he talks about how he knows them. Now, I kind of feel like he's just planning this to maybe scare him so he'll stop what he's doing, because I just feel like I don't know if everyone's just going to randomly turn against him, because, I mean, we haven't really seen any real threats of that. I understand, you know, of course, you know, Karen doesn't know his true identity, so that could end up really badly, definitely. But I definitely feel like we're going to see Fisk in the next episode, so hopefully we find out more of what his overall, you know, motive is with, you know, with Daredevil, because I don't really know what he wants to do right now. And also with Foggy and Karen, because he knows them as well. We know he knows them, we just don't really know what he wants to do with them yet. What it is, I'm not sure. We'll see, though. As far as those flashbacks, I thought those were amazing to see. I love that they had those flashbacks in this episode. Just seeing what happened to Matt, I think, is great. What did you think of those flashbacks? I mean, a lot of people said that they thought, you know, Jack's character wasn't as convincing, but I think this episode really made us realize that Jack is a great character, and I love seeing his character, and I can't wait to see what else they do with that. I think that's going to be really cool as well. Also, what about Detective Foster? Do you trust the Detective Foster guy? Is this really a detective, or is he just another Russian mobster? What do you think? Is he trustworthy? I don't really know. I don't really know if I trust Detective Foster. I'm not sure yet. We'll have to see what's going on there. And I guess the only other question I'll ask is, like, what's gonna happen to this boy? Is him, you know, are him and Matt gonna connect? I mean, they definitely can both relate to losing a father, because we see a scene where the boy can't find his father and everything, and he's going a little crazy. So is he going through the same things that Matt's going through? I don't know. We'll see what's going on there. But I'm loving this show, obviously. Loving this show. This episode, I would say that the first episode was better, but this episode was still just as good. It didn't make me like the show any less. It didn't make me like this. It made me love. In fact, there were things I love more about this episode. I love the action this episode. I mean, the action was awesome the first episode, but that last scene made me realize that this is some of the best action on TV, honestly. Him beating the shit out of those 4 guys is just awesome to see. And if we keep getting scenes like that, I'll love that. I really hope that all the opening scenes just start off the way that they, you know, the first episodes have, with just really thrilling action. We don't know what's going on, and I find that awesome as well. I never talked about, one of the things I did not talk about in my first review, was the editing. This show goes by so fast, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because of how into it I am, but it goes by so fast, and it's like 50 minutes per episode, but it doesn't feel long at all, and it might just be because I'm so into it, and I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know, guys. Do you guys get that same feeling of, like, it's not nearly as long as it is? To me, it doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel long. It feels, every episode feels like 30. The first episode felt like 20 minutes. This episode felt like 30 minutes. Like, it did not feel long at all, and I love that it doesn't feel long, because it just tells me that I'm more into it, I'm enjoying it, and that's great, because I want to, you know, love this show. And when you're really into a show, it should go by really fast, and this show does that really well, and I definitely think that's really cool if they do that. I can understand some of the things this episode was filler, but no, it wasn't filler at all, because it focused on Matt's past. So if you say this episode was filler, it was not filler. Yeah, it focused on some characters that we're probably never going to see again, but it is setting up what's eventually happening. It's something I definitely like that this is. This is not some weekly weekly villain of the week. That's not what this show is. There's a recurring villain, there's something that's going on, and that doesn't happen in a lot of these shows. You know, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., yeah, that happens. Agent Carter, not really, though. Agent Carter is more of a procedural show with serial elements. No, this is strictly serial, and I love that they do that, and it's awesome. And again, it just shows how different it is from all the other Marvel movies, and I love that. Also, are they going to start connecting things more to the MCU? I can already tell they're connecting things to the MCU, but what do you guys think? I feel like things are starting to connect already, but what do you guys think about that? But that's in my review. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys saw this episode. Overall, as I said, love this episode. Amazing show. I'm loving this show. It's already becoming one of my favorite shows on TV. That's in my review. Hope you guys enjoy it. I'll see you guys in my next video, which we're going to review for Bloodline. So I'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.